Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome, SmartSearch clients and guests, to the SmartSearch Best Practices webinar, Decrease Recruiting Time Without Sacrificing Quality, presented by our special guest, Scott Wintrip. Scott Wintrip is president of the Wintrip Consulting Group. He's helped thousands of companies improve their quality to hire, talent on demand, grow faster, increase revenues, improve profitability, and expand their market share. In the process of advising, educating, and coaching his clients, Scott has created more than $1.3 billion in positive economic impact for them. He's an astute strategist and is respected for his strong leadership and practical advice. He's also the author of High Velocity Hiring, How to Hire Top Talent in an Instant, published by McGraw-Hill in April of this year. And you can learn more about Scott and his services at wintripconsultinggroup.com. My name is Cindy Travella, and I'm the Manager of Marketing at SmartSearch and your Master of Ceremonies for today's presentation. Also joining us is my SmartSearch colleague, Sylvia Dalby, who will be monitoring the questions along with Scott during the presentation. Good morning, Sylvia, and welcome.
Good morning, Cindy. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So everyone, in regards to questions, Scott will be addressing some about halfway through the presentation and also at the end of the presentation, time allowing. So any questions left unanswered during the program will be addressed later offline via personal email. Now you're going to see a question box on the control panel, and we're going to be monitoring this. So you're welcome to type in your questions throughout the presentation, and you can do so by keying them directly into that box. Now, before we get started, just a few housekeeping things to cover. Calling your attention back to that control panel, the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. That's where you're going to type in questions or private questions if you have any technical difficulties. However, if you do have technical difficulties, you can let me know, but best thing to do, log out, log back in. That seems to remedy any audio or visual problems. Also, you'll see the little arrow, the white arrow in the orange box. You can click on that and you can minimize the control panel so you can get the entire viewing of the slides, and we do recommend that you do that. And you can drag and drop chat box and question box from the control panel if you just want to remove them altogether. And just so you know, today's slides will be available to everyone in attendance, and additional information will be sent to all of you on how to obtain a copy. And we're going to be tweeting during the webinar. So if you wish to follow along there or participate with updates, please use the hashtag SmartSearchATS. Now, during today's webinar, Scott will be discussing better interviewing methods to improve precision and speed, how to create talent communities of ready-to-hire people, systems that enable instantaneous hiring, how to increase your talent wealth to become a talent-rich organization, and which counterproductive mindsets inhibit productive, efficient hiring. So, without further ado, it is my extreme pleasure to hand off the controls to our special guest presenter, Scott Wintrip.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Sylvia. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today. And before I dive in, I just want to make sure I'm coming through loud and clear to both of you. So everything A-OK
Yes.
on audio?
A-OK. You sound like a rock star, Scott.
Thank you. Well, welcome, everybody. I know that this is a lunch hour for a lot of you, so let's dive right in. And I promise I won't talk with my mouth full. In fact, I won't eat anything. You eat the lunch if it's lunchtime for you, and I'll dole out the ideas. So today I wanted to focus on speed. I think speed is an important thing to talk about, because it used to be a competitive advantage. And that was certainly the case when I got involved in hiring 30 years ago. And the importance of speed was drilled into me daily by my boss in 3 simple words: time kills deals. He would say, time kills deals, Scott, which I already knew, but he thought I needed to remember. John would say it over and over again. He'd say, time kills deals, to everybody on our team, over and over and over again ad nauseum. And you know, I knew he was right. You know, hiring is a deal between a company and a candidate. And that's true whether there's a staffing firm involved or not. They're agreeing to work together. They're making a deal. So John would drive this home. But he didn't stop there. John was a quirky guy. We could go on about his quirkiness. One of the quirky things about him was he had variations of time kills deals, variations of the saying. And here's the bizarre part of it. Every single one of them rhymed. One of them he delivered every single week to us at the end of our weekly meeting. He'd look around the room, look us each in the eye, and have this really serious expression on his face. And then he'd say, remember, slow to hire makes the deal expire. And he would say it with that kind of dramatics. And I still to this day, all these years later, don't know how we as a team didn't laugh out loud, because we would have been fired. He didn't have a great sense of humor when it came to these things. He had another version of it. It was the inspirational version. I'll put that in air quotes. And he'd say this during his occasional pep talks. He'd say, a hire today makes your boss go away. I don't know how he did that with a straight face. Now, some of his so-called rhymes, they were really bad. I mean, especially bad. Yes, those were bad. Now, here's one that was the worst of all. He'd look at us and he'd say, a long hiring process is incredibly obnoxious. I could go on for a while. Yeah, I know. There'll be a good one. Great. No, that's okay. That warranted laughter. And now I can laugh, but I have to admit something. Yes, they were cheesy and absolutely true. He was right. His constant focus on a speedy process made us better at hiring, better at staffing. And maybe that was the point. I think about it. I don't know if he would have cared that we laughed because we remembered. You know, he made us better. The quicker we were to submit candidates for full-time jobs or contracts or assignments, the more likely they'd be interviewed. The faster the interview process, the better the chances of us getting an offer. The sooner the start date, and time wouldn't kill the deal. Speed was our competitive advantage, and it allowed us to win in hiring a lot more than we lost. So now let's come to today. All these years later, speed is no longer a competitive advantage. I'm going to show you why that's the case today. It's actually a requirement for doing business. So during our time together, we have up until the top of the hour, I'm going to show you how to successfully speed up the hiring process. It doesn't matter if you work for a staffing company and you want to help your customers speed up the process and speed up how you're helping candidates. If you're from a corporation, you can also speed it up. The process applies to you. And here's the beautiful part about this, is we're going to even go as far as talk about how a faster process can even reduce time to fill to zero. Now, to really show you why this is important, to demonstrate why hiring and why speed, everything has to be fast, I want to talk about how things have changed. And we need to look beyond staffing for a moment to do that, at how people buy things today and how that compares to yesterday. So just 15 years ago, let's go back then. Let's think about a typical Friday night. A typical Friday night might play out something like this. So as you leave work, your boss hands you your paycheck. So you drive to the bank and you line up for the next available teller to deposit that check and grab a bit of cash for the weekend. Now, from there, you've already decided with your significant other that you're going to stay in and watch a movie. So you swing by that video store, remember these signs? And you're going to pick up a couple of DVDs, one that you know you'll like, one you know that your significant other likes. And then on the way home, since it's a night in, you're going to go get some Chinese. And yes, this is a real Chinese restaurant. It's all that in dim sum. Great name. And you pick up a little Kung Pao shrimp for you, General Tso's chicken for your significant other. And with all of this in hand, you head to Home Sweet Home to sit and watch that movie. So you settle in, you load up the DVD and the DVD player, your significant other gets the Chinese boxes, the chopsticks, you sit down and you start to watch the movie. Halfway through, your significant other hits the pause button. Looks over and says, hey, did you see my note on the counter this morning? You look up and go, what note? And your significant other says, well, we're out of milk. I put that on the note. I was hoping that you would have stopped and picked that up on the way home. I guess you didn't do that, did you? You're sitting there going, oh no, okay, sorry, yeah, I must have totally missed that. Let's finish the movie and I'll go back out afterwards. And if you all are like me, it's just a distraction from there on out. You think you're settled in for the night, you've already got, your equivalent of PJs on because you're watching a movie in, you got to go back out. So after the movie, you turn the DVD off, you get in your car, you head out, you get the milk, you pick up a couple other things. So just describing this to you, I have to tell you, this just exhausts me to think about it. It seems so archaic, even though it's just 15 years ago. Because think about it, there's an app for that, or I should say there's an app for all that. Who goes to the bank anymore? I couldn't even tell you the last time I went to the bank, because instead I can take a picture and that check is deposited right now. You know what? I'm going to binge watch a couple of shows, not just watch one movie, one of my all-time favorites, House of Cards. I'm going to start watching that because we put the order into Uber Eats, that food is being picked up for us. And if halfway through the movie we realize we're out of something, I don't have to go anywhere because there's this service in many cities, coming to more cities all the time, where they'll bring it to you in an hour for a fee or 2 hours for free. Speed is the new normal. We've all come to expect speed. And let's talk for a minute now why speed is so important. And there are 3 things that in particular I wanted you to take away today over everything else, and this is one of them. And I want you to write down something in just a moment, so make sure you grab a pen. The reason why speed is so powerful, why the on-demand economy is growing, is engagement. Engagement is creating more of the on-demand. In fact, here's what you want to write down. Engagement quickly builds trust. It's the speed that creates that engagement, and that trust creates a relationship built to last. And I'll say that one more time. Engagement quickly builds trust. It's speed that creates that engagement, and that trust that comes from that creates a relationship built to last. If you think about how we've come to rely on Uber, Amazon, our banking apps, Netflix, Amazon Prime Videos, and so forth, we've come to trust that they're going to be there when they need them. And this engagement spectrum, the faster it happens, the more engaged we feel. The longer it takes, the more we feel discouraged. Now, how does this tie into hiring and staffing? Well, think about all of the interactions that you, your candidates, the hiring managers that you work with have on a day-to-day basis. Everything is getting faster in their life, making speed the new normal. We have all been affected. Every single one of us on this webinar today have been infected by the on-demand economy. Your candidates, your hiring managers are experiencing speed as the new normal. So the moment something slows down, it is jarring, and it has. Look at how time to fill has gotten longer every year over the past 3 years. In August 2015, 28.6 working days. April 2016, 29.6 working days. And already this year, and the year is not yet done, 30.5 working days, not calendar days. Yes, some people blame the skill shortage. That's actually not the issue. The skill shortage affects everybody, but some people are countering it with a faster process, which is our subject today. We're going to borrow from the on-demand economy to change mindsets and improve the process in that order. And why is that important? Because top talent don't have time for a long, drawn-out process. They have no patience for it. Hiring managers, when that seat is empty, 3 things immediately happen. They have to do their job. They have to cover the work of the empty seat, and they have to take on interviewing. Is it any wonder so many hires end up as a failure because a manager is now doing 3 full-time jobs instead of 1? This long time to fill is the bane of companies' existence. And we can counter that. You can actually become a hiring hero, whether you work in staffing or work inside for an organization, if you start to change this and change it now. So let's dig in how to do that. Let's look at what are these counterproductive mindsets that we need to start to counter. How do you do that? What's the benefit of doing so? And what's the process that will help drive that? That's what we're going to continue through as we work through this idea today. Here are the 5 most common counterproductive mindsets. And I want to walk you through them one at a time. There might be more amongst the hiring managers that you work with, either inside companies or from the outside as a staffing firm. And if you find others, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to give you 4 questions that's going to help create a process where you can get people to change their own minds and change their own mindsets. So the first mindset, working left to right, is there aren't enough candidates. And it's common. In fact, the news backs it up. How many times are we told there's a skills shortage? The news is ripe with this. Even during the Great Recession that we all went through in the late 2000 timeframe, there was a skills shortage for all kinds of people, including automotive workers in India, engineers and legal talent here in the United States, and my favorite, sheep shearers in England. And it was so such a shortage that the news was reporting on this one. Well, why is this a counterproductive mindset? Because the moment you start to believe that the skills shortage is the problem, you could also think there's nothing you can do to counter it. It incites a victim mentality among the people who are buying into it, so they just put up with the status quo. As you're going to see in just a moment, when you speed up the process and reduce it to 0, really cool, good things happen. So this is why you can't afford to buy into it. Slow hiring and unfilled jobs is not because of a skill shortage. It's a process problem. How do I know this? Because I'm helping drive a process, and I'm seeing companies create their own processes that fills jobs in an instant. I'll give you a quick example on this one of how there aren't enough. This counterproductive mindset is a bunch of crap. In San Jose, California,